This is Dudes Who Bet Sports.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Sports. Welcome back to show number 2 today on a Wednesday, day before Thanksgiving. Papa Dude, are you ready to rock and roll? We're in better moods, without a doubt, today. So
I'm in a great mood. My life's taken a turn for the better. Don't need to get into why, but it has for now anyway. And we got football this weekend, Turkey Day tomorrow. Lots of games to talk about. Let's do it.
I was going to say, we're burying the lead here because Oklahoma won a football game against a good team. That was the number one thing I was getting at. Holy shit. What a win for OU. And then on a lesser note right now, but it could turn into a better note, the Blues hired Jim Montgomery as the head coach. Right. They fire Bannister. They get Montgomery. They looked a lot better. So it's been coming up us the last 3 or 4 days. The OU game was incredible, and then the Blues played their best game of the season, beating the Rangers. So that was good.
Sometimes that happens when you make that coaching change. You play a lot better. Get a quality coach like that this time of the year. It's got to help. I don't know. I don't know whether they've got enough talent. I just don't know. But, they've been stuck, and they haven't been playing with crap and just boring as hell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And go in there and beat the Rangers. They got to get some momentum, win a couple in a row, see what happens. Great coach, though. Boston fired him. I don't know why.
Yep.
With hockey, we've talked about this before. Coaches kind of flame out.
They do.
Places. I don't know. It's a sport that I don't know whether you get tired of listening to the same message. I think Craig Berube, great coach. Look what he's doing in Toronto. The Blues just tuned him out after a while. And I don't know whether that happens in hockey, having never played it, having never been around it. I don't know. But it seems like, great coach like that, like Montgomery, flamed out in Boston. They got rid of him. Something was going on. You don't fire a guy that soon.
Yeah, for sure. I think by and large, most hockey coaches, especially successful hockey coaches, are really hard asses. They are. You have to have a guy behind the bench that you think could go fight somebody. Yep. And they are very, very demanding. Mm-hmm. And I think that message does get a little bit sour. When you think of all the Blues coaches, and they've had a bunch, they're all kind of that way. They're all kind of, get your ass in gear, you're done type guys. And so I think you think about Ken Hitchcock and Andy Murray and obviously Berube and even Jim Montgomery now for sure. Yeah.
Well, Mike Keenan.
Well, he's the ultimate example.
Yeah, right. But he was there.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't remember Scotty Bowman was there.
Scotty Bowman was a hard ass. Yeah.
Yeah. Guy that stood the test of time that's been there forever is Suter at Calgary.
But, before that, he went everywhere.
That's true. But he's there.
But he's another guy that Sutter, he's just he's a no-nonsense, no bullshit type. That's how most of those guys are. So it's interesting.
It's an interesting sport. By the way, speaking of firing, were you shocked that North Carolina fired Matt Brown?
No. I think it's
surprised they fired him.
I think they probably went to him and said, "Are you going to retire?" And if he said no, they said, "Well, then you're fired." I think.
Well, you know why he can't retire? He's probably got a buyout.
Well, yeah, that's probably true. I think with a guy that age nowadays, it's going to get harder and harder and harder. Well, it's just
I do too.
Yeah.
I kind of just floored me.
Yeah.
I was shocked because
I wasn't.
Well, in the last 20 years, they haven't done much unless he was the coach. And it kind of, he got him back to respectability. They were terrible when he went in there.
I would say
you're right. You're probably right. They probably went to him and said, "Hey, Mac, it's time."
I would just say in today's climate, he can't. Yeah. Those type of guys just can't survive.
I guess I would just think they could have said, "Hey, why don't you resign and we'll give some of this buyout."
Well,
you deserve it. And I was just, when I saw that come across the line there last night, I just kind of did a double take there. They've had a decent season. It's not like they're awful.
No, they're not awful. But
I understand what you're saying, though. He is getting what he's got to be.
73.
73. Okay.
Yep.
We'll be interested to see who they get.
Pretty interesting to see how they probably think they should be a little bit better than what they are. And I would say they're not getting the guys. They're probably getting out recruited, and then that's
You're probably right.
That happens.
They are kind of falling down on the pecking order in the ACC.
And right here it just says, and to my point, he announced he's coming back, and then the next day they fired him because I think they probably were like, "Well, look, you're not coming back, so here's the door. You could have left on your own. Now we're going to have to fire you." And that's how it is right now. That's just how it is right now. So, yeah. And then finally,
you got to talk about OU a little, don't we?
That's what I was going to say. Finally, Al Eshbach, who has been at Oklahoma since the 60s or 70s.
60s.
He is a radio personality. He said after the game that was the most shocking victory he's ever covered at Oklahoma. And it was because Oklahoma didn't luck out. Oklahoma didn't eke it out. Oklahoma dominates Alabama for 4 quarters. Absolute domination, a complete game, not a fluke. Killed them. Absolutely killed them.
I've been around as long as Al, probably a little longer. I can only think of one that's even close, but there is a difference, as Al pointed out. 1996, I think it was. They went into the Texas game. Terrible. They were terrible. Hadn't won a game. Had lost to Tulsa, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And went in and beat them in overtime. That was the only one I can think of that's close. The difference was Texas wasn't that great that year, and you're beating an Alabama team that was playing great, and they dominated them. Yeah.
The thing that it reminded me some of when we beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl that year.
That was close. Yeah.
Where we showed up and Alabama did not care. That was the difference. Like they didn't want to be there. No. It was a meaningless game.
We had a better team.
A much better team.
Yeah.
A much better team. We were in a BCS bowl, for God's sakes. Like a much better team. This was it was truly shocking. And as the game went on, I text Madison, one of my girls, and I said, "Look, this is like a fever dream," because she mentioned that when the Blues won the Cup. She's like, "It's like a fever dream. It's so far now. It's gone. It's over." It's like, did it really happen? That's what I felt was like, is this really? It's 24-3. We're now in the 4th quarter. Alabama can't even get like 5 yards. I mean, what is going on? It was crazy. And as the game went on, it was just like, no, this is totally happening. Like they're winning the game. Like
it's a classic example of a team not showing up ready to play.
Yeah.
They had no emotion. I'm talking about Alabama, no emotion. There was no urgency.
No.
It was like we're getting our ass kicked, and what can we do about it? And they didn't act like. I'm gonna tell you something. I saw a play and I've watched it 100 times, and I don't know anything about Alabama. I don't follow them at all. I think their quarterback is a problem, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
That sounded just like Ricky.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why. When he threw that interception to Kip Lewis.
Yeah, he tried to trip him. Yeah.
He tried to trip him. Yeah. He could have easily tackled him.
Yeah, yeah.
That was just an unsportsmanlike. I'm giving up. I don't give a shit anymore. I'm just going down here and trip you.
Yep. Well, the final laugh was on him because Lewis hurtled that trip and went right into the end zone.
He didn't even make a good attempt to trip him.
No, I know. Yeah, I thought it was great. And the interception he threw the possession before, he went over and tackled the guy, so he could have tried to do that again.
Well, remember a couple of years ago when Saban benched him?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of wonders. He got some attitude problems of some kind. I mean, he was god awful in that game.
Oh yeah.
He was awful.
Well, he couldn't run, and when he couldn't run, it was over. Yeah. And that's what OU did. They absolutely stuffed him. I mean, I kind of had the thought of, well, maybe OU's not really going to play all that well after the disaster. And then first play, they run the zone read, and Milroe looks like he's got an opening, and then Danny Sussman just steps up and nails him. And I thought, okay, they're going to play at least.
Yeah.
You don't come up and do that if you're not ready. And
Well,
the offense still scores 10 points. That's all they really scored, but
they didn't do anything really.
All they did was not turn the ball over and run the ball well enough to run a lot of clock.
That's what they did. They had the ball.
Yep.
And Jackson Allen or Arnold, say whatever you want. And he has been blasted by me, you, and everybody else. He's tough. He is a tough kid. He got the crap knocked out of him.
I said all along it's uncomfortable to watch him play because you like him because he really hasn't done anything wrong. He seems like a good kid. He just hasn't been able to do anything.
No.
And they found it. He ran the ball 25 times, unheard of for a quarterback nowadays. I mean,
these days,
crazy, 130 some yards. So it was crazy.
But I think I'm tired of people talking about this kid at Alabama quarterback as being elite. He is not.
No.
He is not.
So how many times has an OU team that's been pretty good go on the road, they're behind 10-3 at the half, and they either come back and win or they come back and they make it really, really close and they lose a heartbreaker, right?
No.
Those good OU teams over the years, they never didn't respond. And so when Alabama came out of the half and was 10-3, my thought process was, this has been a fun half.
Yes.
We're not going to win. It's going to be a heartbreaker instead of what I thought would be a blowout because Alabama will wake up. It was the opposite. OU was more dominant defensively in the second half.
They were. I thought it was going to end up 24-10.
Yeah, I thought it would be like the Ole Miss game. You know, we were head at the half against Ole Miss, got beat. Head at the half against Missouri, got beat. I thought it'd be that. Yeah.
And you walk away saying, well, they gave it all they got.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be upset, but at least they didn't get blown out. And then Eli Bowen gets the first pick, and it's like, well, I still bet they don't score. And then they scored, and it's like I still bet this thing's going to get close. And then when Kip gets his, it's like it's over. This game's over. OU's winning the game. At that point, you knew Alabama can't score 24 points.
No.
And a matter of fact, they couldn't score a touchdown. They held to 3. Unbelievable.
Listen, college football is crazy. It's
just
crazy.
It is, but that's the most shocked at by far I've ever been. By far.
And now, suddenly the season, everything's up, and maybe we can go beat LSU, and then we'll go to a good bowl game, maybe win 8 games in the blink of an eye. Everything just changes,
I don't think they're going to go down there and win, but
I don't
we'll get
either.
to that in a second.
Yeah, I don't think they are either. But anyway.
All right. Well, let's get to it here. Let's get to the picks this weekend. We're going to go to college football first, like we always do. And we're going to go Memphis, Tulane on Thanksgiving. So the Egg Bowl's gone from Thanksgiving. I didn't realize that until a couple weeks ago. I was looking up the schedule. But we get Memphis and Tulane. Pretty damn good game. Both teams 9-2. Tulane still with a very outside shot, but an outside shot to make the playoff. 14-point favorites. You got in this one.
I love the way Tulane's playing. They're just killing people. They're not messing around. They're beating the snot out of them. I bet you they'd like to have those 2 games back that they lost because they're really gelling and playing well. I know the American Conference is not great, and they're rolling through them. I think they're going to snowball Memphis. Memphis is good, 9-2, but Memphis lost to Navy. That's all I need to see. The game's in Tulane. If it was in Memphis, I'd say they could give them a fight. But I'm going to go with Tulane to cover.
Yep, same here. I went Tulane to cover in this one as well. I kind of looked at some of the 2 Memphis losses, and it's like, well, if they can't beat those teams, they're probably not going to beat Tulane. And not only did they not beat them, it wasn't really that close. So, yeah, give me Tulane in this one. We'll go to Friday. Always a fun day. Black Friday, a nice day to just relax and watch some football. Got good hockey on Friday as well. We'll talk about hockey a little bit later, though. Oregon State, Boise State. Boise State wins this one. They're in great shape still. If they lose, obviously, they're probably going to be out. 19-point favorites. Now, Boise State has not played these teams or has not blown out these teams that they should have the last couple of weeks. No. Oregon State comes in off of a win. They went to Washington State and won last week. Oregon State could be bowl eligible with a win here. Is this going to be close? That's my question.
Well, it shouldn't be if this is the number 4 team in the playoffs, right? They're not playing worth crap.
No,
they're not.
Listen, the last 2 weeks, Wyoming I mean, they played them damn close.
They did.
Who in the hell came in there and it was 28-21 2 weeks ago?
Nevada.
Yeah. So come on. But Oregon State's better than those two teams.
I think so too. Are they feeling the pressure? Is Boise State feeling the pressure?
And that's a new thing.
Yes.
Like these little schools, they never really had to deal with that. You know, feel the pressure of making a BCS bowl and going and playing somebody. Now that's a little bit different than we could be in the playoff.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If I was them, I'm sure glad it's on the blue turf and it's not out there in Corvallis. That's for sure.
Yes, I agree.
I think they'll rally. I don't know if they'll cover that 19, though. I would say no. I think it'll be like, I don't know, 35-21, something like that. I do think they'll win. I'm not sure they're going to beat UNLV in that championship game.
UNLV's playing well right now. They did beat them the first time they played, but that doesn't mean they're going to beat them the second time.
So, because the pressure is really going to be on them going into that game. So, I'm going to pick them to win, but not to cover.
Do you think Tulane will jump Boise State if Boise State is to lose?
Let's see. Tulane's going to play Memphis.
Yep. And then Army.
And what they have to do is slaughter them.
Both teams, yeah.
Yes. And I think they have a shot.
Okay.
The Tulane's playing great.
Yep.
They got a little bit of a name, because they've been pretty good the last 2 or 3 years. Beat USC in the Cotton Bowl here a while back. So, I don't know whether they will. Both teams will have 2 losses. I kind of think they will. They are ranked.
Yep.
But they can't beat Memphis 24-21 and then beat Army 28-20. They've got to be really impressive, I think.
Do you think Tulane would beat Boise State on a neutral field?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I think a lot of
Boise State is one-dimensional.
Yeah.
I don't think they throw the ball real well. They got the great running back, and their defense is not very good. So,
yeah. And our resident Wyoming fan talking about Gundy and how good he is, and he is special. There's no doubt about that.
Question.
All right, Oklahoma State goes on the road to take on Colorado. This one not quite as big as it was because Colorado lost to Kansas last week, but still, the Buffalo could finish 9-3 in the regular season. That'd be a pretty damn good season. Oklahoma State, a disaster of a season. I mean, a disaster. 16.5-point favorites here for the Buffs. Who you got?
This Oklahoma State was a team that was picked by many to win the Big 12.
Yes.
Be a top 10, top 15 type team at least.
The thought process within the Oklahoma State program is we got away from Texas and Oklahoma. We're going to roll now.
Yeah. And they had a lot of guys back.
Yep.
It wasn't like they were starting all over.
No.
And if they lose this, they're going to finish the season with a 9-game losing streak and not win a game in the Big 12, where they have been pretty dang good with Texas and Oklahoma in the conference.
Right.
This is unbelievable how they have just fallen off. They have no defense. Some weeks they can score, other weeks they can't.
Yeah.
I don't see any way they go out there and play very well. The thing's going to be, how far down is Colorado after getting their bubble?
Well, they still have a chance to make the game.
Yeah,
so,
I think I heard something. There's like 200 different scenarios.
Yeah, but you still have a chance, and you're the first one to play. You don't have a great chance, but you still have a chance. I think they will be sky high and ready to rock.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they'll beat the hell out of Oklahoma State because the flip side of it is, what in the hell is Oklahoma State playing for?
None. They're just playing to get it over with.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know whether you ever listen to Mike Gundy's press conferences. I do.
Because
he's highly entertaining. And he you could just tell he is just wanting this to end.
Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not used to this.
Mark says time to move on from him. What do you think? Do you think it's time to move on from him?
A guy can be there too long.
I think that's
And it might be time for new blood in there. He has done an absolute remarkable job.
Yeah.
At a place that's never won as consistently as they have with him.
Yeah.
They've had moments where they've been pretty good for a year or two, then they drop out of sight.
Yeah.
This is the first time they've done this under him once he got it going. So it could be time that he's been there long enough. And, his message is not playing anymore.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't think they do it this year, but another year like this, and I think he'll be gone.
I guess it. I'd give him one more, but yeah, he's on the hot seat next year.
He's earned one more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mississippi State and Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl. This has moved to Friday. Mississippi 26-point favorite. Now we talked about Alabama and the disappointments there. Ole Miss, good God, just blew it. Got beat by Florida. Now I would argue that at least they put up a fight. It wasn't a blowout, but they could not beat Florida, and now they're pretty much out of it without a lot of help. So, will they rebound and play well in the Egg Bowl?
I don't think so. Do you?
I don't know. No.
I mean, their only goal was to make the playoffs, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would not lay 26 with Mississippi.
No way.
Their talent level is definitely 26 points better, but I don't know what they'll show up and do.
I don't think so. I think that was just a devastating loss.
Yeah.
You destroyed Georgia, and I know Florida is getting better.
Yeah.
Huge win for Florida. Just huge.
Yeah.
They can win 7 now, maybe 8 in a bowl game, and get ready for them to turn it around. They've got a chance to do that at Florida.
Well, right now, Florida and Oklahoma kind of sitting in that same boat. As they looked in big trouble. Now they've got a couple wins, and now maybe they can turn it around. Yeah.
And then I think Ole Miss could go in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could. I've never been a Lane Kiffin fan. I had to give it to him when they destroyed Georgia. But and I'm not sure how good Jackson Dart is either. I'm really not.
Well, I think with them, you can't say Kiffin's done a good job because he hasn't. This has been a bad year. When they played us, and we watched every play, I mean, I text Manlow, who's a big Mississippi fan, and I said, this team is shit as far as the coaching goes. Like, this is one of the, and I still think they might be the most talented team in this league that we've played. They're
awfully good.
They did things to us that we was like, wow, we can't stop them because they're flat out better than us in spots. But they were so poorly prepared, and they were just poorly coached in that game.
I thought so.
But then they turned it around, and they had they had the game in Arkansas where they just killed them, and then they killed Georgia, and then they're back to this shit again. I mean, I don't know. And maybe it's a situation where they've got too many guys from the portal, and they're not really together. I don't know.
Possible.
Yeah.
Well, I've never seen anybody, in the last 10 years, 7 years probably, dismantled Georgia like they did.
Yeah.
They just destroyed them. They dominated them on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
It was a beating, physical beating. And they were so impressive. And a lot of people were thinking they could win the national championship the way they played.
Yeah.
They had a week off. Then they didn't come back with anything. And I don't know if that's coaching. You may be absolutely right. It may be a fact they had too many portal guys. I don't know. But that was a devastating loss because they had the playoffs made. They had.
Yeah. What I'm saying, it's either coaching or just no chemistry, but they should be in the playoff. I mean, that's just a terrible loss.
Yeah,
but
that was horrible.
And again, I can't back them to cover in this game.
No, I don't think they got much left. I don't.
I think they'll win, but
I do too. But I think it'll be ugly.
I do too. Yeah. All right, last one for Friday for the ranked opponents here, and it is going to be Georgia. Georgia Tech, 19.5-point favorite for the Bulldogs, who are in the conference championship game, regardless of what happens here, but they need to win this game in case they lose that conference championship game. Mm-hmm. Georgia Tech's, they're Johnny Tryhards is how I would describe them.
They are.
I don't think they're very good, but they will go in and battle them, but can they cover this? I'm not sure. What about you?
They could. You're right about them. They're 7-4. Sky does a really good job down there because they got a quarterback that can't throw the ball very well. Mm-hmm. But they score points. Their run game is tough to stop.
Yeah.
And he's done a really, really good job at Tech. They don't have the players that Georgia has. It's kind of a rivalry, but it's not really a rivalry when one team dominates it,
Yep.
like Georgia does to Tech.
Yep.
I think they cover.
I do too.
It could be close for a while, but I think late. They just have too much talent.
I kind of think Georgia covers easy. I wouldn't say late. I think they're going to cover easy because I feel like now it's like we've had this year where it hasn't gone really how we thought. 2 losses at Georgia's not great. But now we got new life. Now it's like we're clear into the game. Where the path is there. We have nothing to worry about. I think they'll play really good in this game. So I think they get the job done fairly easily. Michigan and Ohio State will kick off Saturday. Not quite as big a game as it has been the last 4 or 5 years. Ohio State is a 21-point favorite here. Ryan Day trying to beat Michigan for the first time. If not this year, when is it going to happen, right? Is there any upset alert here, or do you think Ohio State takes care of business?
I think they take care of business. You got to look at that 21 in a rivalry game. Michigan showed some life last week. They scored some points against. I know it was against Northwestern, but
if
still.
Michigan had a decent to adequate quarterback, I think they would be in a position to be in the playoff or be close.
Yeah,
I really believe when you look at Michigan on the line, both lines of scrimmage, they're very good.
Yeah, and that's why I give them a chance to beat the spread because I think they can hold Ohio State. And if they can somehow, they're kind of like OU, if they can somehow figure out how to score 14 points, they can hold Ohio State at 28-30.
Yeah.
Because their defense is good. And Ohio State is not fantastic on offense.
No.
Not like they've been. They're very what's the word? Consistent.
Yeah.
They're efficient. That's what I was trying to say. But they don't have those big play guys that they've had. And Indiana held them for a little while, but what happened to Indiana was Ohio State just shut them down and their defense got tired. Ohio State's defense is better than it's been over the years. So that point spread's a little bit high simply for the fact that Michigan could hold them a little bit. But I don't know if they can score enough. So I'm going to stay away from this game. It's a rivalry game, and that point spread's just a little too much for me.
I think it's Ohio State. I do think they'll cover because I don't have confidence Michigan's gonna get 14 points. They may only get 10, and then it's like, boy, how are you gonna cover this now? That's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
And then you got the factor in if Michigan can't move it, their defense is on the field the whole game. I mean, that's what it feels like to me. So
and you turn it over and give
yes. So I think Ohio State will cover. I'm with you though. It is a lot.
Now, let me ask you
more
this.
appealing games.
A lot of people are saying that Ohio State's the best team in the country. Yeah. What do you think? They're playing very well.
I don't think they are.
Who have they beat?
Yeah, I don't think they are.
I mean, they have beat Indiana and they have beat Penn State.
I think
in the playoffs.
I think the game with Oregon, if that will be kind of tell us where they're at.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah. I know they lost to them, but can they come back and beat them? Do they beat them convincingly? Do they lose again? I mean, I think that'll answer.
So if they win this week and then they beat Oregon, they probably will get that number 1 seed.
Oh, there's no probably about it. They're a lock.
Yeah.
They'll be number 1. Yeah. All right. Tennessee and Vanderbilt next. Tennessee, a 10.5-point favorite here, win and in, and they know they don't have to play for the conference championship. They're in a great spot.
They are.
Can they beat Vanderbilt? I would think with everything on the line, they're going to go down there and beat them. But what do you think?
Well, I would too. Vandy's kind of cooled down a little. They've lost 2 or 3 to here down the stretch to good teams. Yes. And but they've kind of fell down to where Vanderbilt is better than normal. But, they're not 16th out of 16, however many's in the SEC. They're more like 12th, 11th. You can argue for them to be right in the middle. Doesn't betting Tennessee bother you a little bit with the fact they're not very good on offense?
Yeah, I said last week they were able to cover.
But it was UTEP. Oh, come on.
Yeah, but I think
they're better.
I think I would rather take Tennessee's side than Vanderbilt's. This one for me is a stay away because I think the key to the game. I think the key to the game is going to be, can Vanderbilt score enough points? Because Tennessee's defense has been super good. And I think that's where you get into, like, if we're going to say, hey, I think Vanderbilt might only score 14 or 17, I don't think they'll cover. So
I do think I've noticed in these last 3 or 4 weeks, teams are adjusting to Vanderbilt's offense.
Yes. Yeah. They're getting stopped.
They're
getting stopped. Yeah.
So
that's why I'm on Tennessee.
Yeah. And Tennessee's defense is as good as anybody's.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
And if the quarterback can play error-free, they should cover this. They do have a world of pressure on them, though.
Yeah.
They really do. And it is a rivalry.
Yeah.
Again, it's another one that's one-sided in football, but it is a rivalry. So it's an interesting game. 11 o'clock on Saturday. That's an interesting game. And the way this SEC's been this year, I wouldn't be surprised if Vanderbilt beats them.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised either, and then that would probably knock Tennessee out of it, and that'd just be crazy.
Then all hell's going to break loose. Who's going to get in there? I mean,
Well, here's a number one candidate for it. South Carolina and Clemson will go next. Clemson is the first team out right now. They're 2.5-point favorites against South Carolina. This would be a big win for both schools, but for Clemson for sure. I think Clemson's might get in, which is crazy if they win. But what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, they're ranked 12th. That means something. And I think they get in if Tennessee loses. Don't you?
Well, I think they might get in with some other scenarios too. But
could.
Yeah.
They need help. But the first thing they got to do is beat a damn good South Carolina team.
Yep.
And what if South Carolina wins? Do they have a chance?
No, the problem with South Carolina is they've lost to teams immediately ahead of them that have the same record. So
they would have to lose. Ahead of them.
I'll go back to it again. Let's say South Carolina wins this game. Blowing that LSU game.
Oh, yeah. This is a toss-up game, don't you think? I'm going to take Clemson just because they're at home. The spread's light. And it's South Carolina.
I took South Carolina.
You did? You think they're better?
I think South Carolina is a better team than Clemson. Now, can they go on the road and beat them and all that stuff and the history and how Clemson usually does? All that stuff, I don't know. But I'm saying if I look at their team and I look at Clemson's team, I think South Carolina is a better team.
I kind of do too, but I just have a hard time betting against Clemson at home. It's just.
Yeah, I get it.
If it was in Columbia. Well, if it was in Columbia, South Carolina would be favored.
Yeah, you'd probably flip it and they'd be a 2.5-point favorite. Yeah, exactly.
This is going to be a great football game.
It'd be a great game. They hate each other. It's a huge game, major implications.
Yep.
Even though I don't think South Carolina has a chance, it's not totally out of the realm. They need a lot of help, but so it's a big game. I think South Carolina will beat them. I really, really like that team. And they've proven to be tough too.
I just wonder if some jobs come open, what Shane Beamer's is somebody going to go after him? I mean, he's done a hell of a job there.
If you go back 3 years ago,
I know you wanted to. I know
that's who I wanted to hire. But anyway, let's keep going. Illinois at Northwestern. That could be why I like South Carolina so much. I think he's a good coach. But all right, let's keep going. Illinois. I don't know if you watched or listened to any of this game, Illinois and Rutgers last week. That was a hell of a football game.
And I had Illinois to win, so that I won that bet. So,
oh my gosh, they won it in dramatic fashion. So anyway, great game. But so Illinois tries to make it, tries to get another victory this week at Northwestern. Illinois 7.5-point favorite. Who you got?
I think Illinois will kill them.
I do too.
It is kind of a rivalry.
The only thing I would say is, can Illinois really kill anybody? Not sure, but they're better than Northwestern.
I think they can kill them, and they got to have momentum like crazy coming off that unbelievable win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was counting that as a loss, and then, holy cow.
Crazy.
Rutgers has got to be sick.
Oh, they were. They were.
Illinois wins this. They've won 9 games.
Yeah, crazy.
I'll have to go back and look. When was the last time they've won 9 games? They're going to get a good bowl, and they deserve it. Yep. They're pretty good. They're very well coached. They know what they want to do. I think their quarterback's tough as nails. I don't think he's great, but I think he's tough as nails. He can play.
I like him.
Yeah, he gets
Yeah.
after it.
Yeah.
I don't think Northwestern can play with them. I'm tempted to take. You hate to bet Illinois on the road at 7.5. I wish he'd come down a couple of points, but it probably will go up. But I'm tempted to take them as one of my best bets.
I would take Illinois. Northwestern's done. I'd take Illinois.
I think so too.
All right, team. This has got to be the most overrated team in the history of the world. Number 4, Penn State. Penn State at home taking on Maryland. Penn State 24.5-point favorite. Maryland sucks. Penn State, like I said, they're probably going to win this game. They'll probably be 11-1, and there they go into the playoff. But what do you think? Do they cover?
Maryland's terrible, and they've faded into. They may have a new coach next year too.
They've got to. They've got this guy. They have to.
I know. They've given him 5 years, probably. Yes. Forever.
However long it's been too long.
They're one of those programs, though. They're just not ever going to be very good. They're like Pitt, Pittsburgh. Kind of
yeah, it's fair.
I think Penn State. Well, it's always the risk when they're 24.5-point favorites for them to cover. But why wouldn't they cover?
Mm-hmm.
They're a lot better than them. So I'm not going to bet it because I don't know for sure. But I think they'll cover.
I think they will too, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Penn State covers this game, and I think where they go, they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to get a home game, whoever they play. Yeah. I think that'll be a very interesting line in the playoff. We'll see what happens.
We'll go over that bracket here in a minute, but they were lucky to win last week. They almost got beat too.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and you got to give them credit for coming back and winning that game because they did.
Aaron March says, if you watch this game, you've got a gambling problem. I agree. That's one I'll just look at the score. I don't think I'll ever turn that game on.
I hardly ever watch a Penn State game.
Why is it every week Penn State, it feels like, even when it's like, okay, Penn State's playing some team that is the most boring team to ever play, and it'll be like 24-10, they'll win. And the next week, the same thing. And then it's like, then that 1 week, they'll play somebody good and they get beat every time. And that's their season every year. It feels like that's the season of Penn State. Yeah. It's weird. All right. Notre Dame goes on the road to take on USC. Notre Dame winning in, obviously, for the playoffs. 7.5-point favorites here. The Trojans, they've got a little bit of life. They've won 2 in a row. They changed quarterbacks. They've got a couple wins. The offense hadn't been great, though. Big kind of like Oklahoma with Alabama last week. This is kind of for USC. This could kind of change the vibes of the season a bit if they could get this win. Are you thinking upset?
I could see it.
Yep.
Are we in agreement that if Notre Dame loses, they're out? Unless crazy things happen.
I would say they should be out, but I don't know if they will be.
Yeah, they've only got the 2 losses.
When people have been asking me questions like this, I've been very careful to say I think there's 2 things: what I think should happen and what I think will happen, and it's 2 very different things.
Yeah. 7.5 is too many points for me. I mean, I think USC will play well in this game.
I think USC in the points make a lot of sense.
I do.
Can they win? They've lost so many close games. I don't know that they can win. I do think they can keep it within a touchdown.
I do too. And they're going to look at this as their national championship game.
Yes. Yeah.
This is, like you said, this will make their season. This is another rivalry. They play each other every year, and this is a big time rivalry.
Yeah.
I'd be scared to death if I was Notre Dame. I'd be happy to get out of there with a 17-16 win in overtime. I would. So,
yep.
I'm going to take USC and the points.
Yeah, USC and the points. I do think Notre Dame squeaks it out, but give me USC and the points. I agree. All right, Miami and Syracuse. And you talked about Ricky Pasternak a little bit earlier. He will be at this game. It's one of the biggest games Syracuse has had in the last 10 years or so at home. But Miami's an 11-point favorite. They're in the Dome. What do you think about this one?
Well, I see a team that's 8-3, and I bet them in every one of their 3 losses.
Yeah, right.
And so they've let me down. When I think a team's coming into the Dome and they have a chance to upset them, they have played like crap.
Yes, they have.
and I can't remember the teams, but anyway, they have played off. Well, one of them was Stanford.
Well, Stanford was a game they lost. They lost big at Pitt, where Kyle McCord just inexplicably
He was
a ton of
horrible.
picks, and then they lost at Boston College in a game they could have won. I mean, they had their chances in that
game. The Pitt game and the Stanford game.
The Pitt and the Stanford game were the two you bet them. I remember that. Yeah,
I was so mad at them. And anyway, so that just makes me hesitate because Miami's better than both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But Miami's the chokingest bunch there is.
Mm-hmm.
And they ought to have their butts kicked for being 10-1 instead of 11-0. I think they're going to struggle, but they're going to win because they got a better quarterback. He will win the game for them. Again, look at the points. Can they keep that thing close? The deal is Miami has played a lot of close games. My God, look at some of those scores and look at the points they've given up.
I know.
I think they're going to have to help Syracuse a lot.
Yeah.
The Syracuse offense is just not very dynamic. So I'm beating around the bush here. I can't take Syracuse. I can't. I just don't think they're good enough. They've had a great year. 8-3 is a great season.
Yep.
That nobody expected. So they're going to give it everything it got. It's a tough place to play, but it's not at night. I think the Hurricanes cover it somehow.
I do too. I think they're going to cover. If it was 14, I might start to take Syracuse or think about it. I think it's a 2-score game, though. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to take Miami in this one as well. Let's keep going. California goes on the road to take on SMU. SMU, a 13.5-point favorite in this one. They can close out an undefeated ACC slate if they get the job done here. Of course, their only loss was to BYU. So what do you think? Can they close it out this week?
They've been impressive.
Yeah.
Last week, they're very impressive.
Yeah.
You remember we thought Virginia would give them a game.
Mm-hmm.
No, they played well.
Mm-hmm.
Why in the world would they not play well this week against California at home?
Right. Yes.
Cal's coming off a big win. They beat Stanford in their rivalry game. They are in a bowl game, so they've quietly gone 6-5. There's at times they've flashed some good play, but other times not.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's the point spread. You got to decide. Pressure like crazy on SMU. I think they cover.
I think they will too. I don't think this California team is very good. I think that's where it comes down to. And I think if SMU was going to lose, it would have been a game like last week, and they went and took care of business. So, yeah, I think they cover in this one. All right, interesting game here. Auburn coming off a huge upset of Texas A&M where they stormed the field. And they take on Alabama, who got the field stormed on them, if that's a phrase. But Alabama at home trying to bounce back here. They're 11.5-point favorites. Now, naturally, of the 3-loss SEC schools, Alabama gets the benefit of the doubt more than all the rest of them.
Yeah.
They still have I think, a legitimate shot to make it, even though they have 3 losses. 11.5-point favorite. What do you think?
I don't think they should make it anyway.
No way.
There's no way this team should even be considered for me. You cannot go down there and play like they did in a must-win game.
Right.
You don't deserve to be in it.
Well, and they also lost to Vanderbilt.
Exactly. They
so that's 2 teams. That's 2 teams they lost to that are 6-5 and very well could be 6-6.
They have had 2 impressive wins. LSU, which they're not that good, and they beat Georgia. They haven't beat anybody else, have they?
No.
So,
well, I take that back. South Carolina. I mean, that's a good win. So they did beat South Carolina.
Yeah, but they've lost 3 games.
Yeah.
I would hate to be that coaching staff right now.
Yes. Yeah.
But I would have never taken that job in the first place. That's the dumbest. You cannot go in there after Saban. You just can't. You stay where you're at. Let another guy take the job. Get his ass fired after 2 years. Then you take it if they offer it to you.
Mm-hmm.
It was unbelievable. It just was a tough task to take. Everybody's saying, and I think I agree with them, there's no way a Saban team would have come into Norman, Oklahoma and played like that.
0 chance.
0 chance.
I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people like to say about Nick Saban and others, it's like, yeah, well, they play at Alabama. Well, yeah, that helps for sure.
Yeah, it does.
but you're seeing the difference between a legend and then like a guy that's just a really good coach. And that's I am willing to put my life on it. There's no chance Alabama would have lost at Vanderbilt, and there's no chance Alabama would have lost last Saturday night with Saban. Not a chance.
Who else beat him? I can't.
Well, Tennessee, and that's
they got.
I mean, that's not a bad loss.
No, and Saban's lost games like that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I'm just saying. I don't. There's a Saban team would not have been flat coming in.
No.
When they had to win out and they were in the playoffs, they were in.
Yeah.
This wouldn't have happened. So the pressure.
Listen, he wouldn't have just stood over there like a statue either. He would have been going insane on the sidelines if that would have happened.
Been killing those guys.
Yeah. Somebody would have died. Yeah.
I guarantee you when Milroe went over and tried to trip that kid, he may have benched him.
He has pulled guys before in situations like that.
Bush league thing I have ever seen.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't even try to tackle the guy.
And that probably goes back to he probably wouldn't have tried to do something like that if he knew Saban was on the sideline.
Absolutely not. So back to this game. What kind of attitude are they going to have?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't either. I think this is a fascinating game because
this Auburn team is. People are going to laugh when I say this. Their record's not good. Their season has been just abysmal. They're not a bad team.
No, they're not.
When you analyze how they've lost these games, it has been just incredible to think that they've lost some of these games.
They could easily be 8-3.
Yes, yeah, that's a better way of putting it. Yeah,
they're going to come in there. They can get bowl eligible, which I don't know how much that means, but anyway, for a program like Auburn, I don't know how much that means. But beating Alabama and making them go to 8-4.
Yeah, I think they'll be ready to play.
Kicking them in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
You don't think that makes you excited to play that game? And now suddenly you see them play Oklahoma and you go, my God, we got a chance to beat them.
Yep. Yep.
It's so tempting. I think this game, this is either going to be one way or the other. Alabama's going to come out and kick the crap out of them.
Yeah.
This is going to be a nail biter.
I think it's a nail biter.
I think Alabama wins, but because Auburn's going to do something kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at 21-17. I think it's going to be a good game.
And that's more than okay if you're taking Auburn plus 11.5.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're both on the same page.
Yeah. And I hope
Auburn.
I don't have anything against that coaching staff at all.
Yeah.
It's just nice if Alabama's looking there at 8-4. Is that not wonderful?
Well, I mean, I don't. I just know you just look at this team and go, they're not what they were, obviously.
No,
so.
They're not.
All right, Arizona State and Arizona next here. Big game for Arizona State. Winning they're in the Big 12 championship game. 8.5-point favorite here in this one. Who you got?
I think they're pretty good.
I think they are too.
Yeah, that's a rivalry. It's a big one. These are quietly good games too. Almost every year they play pretty good.
Oh yeah,
each other. 8.5. I think it's too many.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're that good, and they got pressure on them too. I think Arizona's going to rise up and play well. Arizona State's going to beat them. I'm going to take the Wildcats and the points at home. One last hurrah.
I think I'm going to take the Sun Devils on the points here. I don't have a lot of hope for Arizona.
A reasonable pick, yes.
Yeah. All right, my uncle texted me and said we're going to play in the snow. He's a big Arkansas fan. Said they're going to play in the snow. He's feeling it. So it does have snow. Yes, it does. Snow is in the forecast now. Who knows? It's very hard to predict, snow, and who knows what happens. But it could snow at Missouri. Missouri's a 3-point favorite here at home against the Razorbacks. Who you got?
This is a good game too. Pretty good rivalry. Missouri could go to 9-3. Great year for them. Arkansas could go 7-5. These games are kind of unpredictable too. If the Razorbacks don't turn it over, I think they got a shot. But I'm going with Missouri to beat them.
I have to go with Missouri to beat them as well. I don't think the Razorbacks have enough offense to go win this game. And I think that what Arkansas's got to do is get a quarterback. They've got to – I mean, They improved their quarterback play, but not by a ton. So they're going to have to improve it again in the offseason. So I think Missouri gets it done. I think Missouri with Cook, I think they're pretty good, honestly. I don't think they're like a playoff team, but I think they're decent.
I think they play very hard.
I think without Cook, if Cook somehow gets knocked out of the game, he's not playing. Yeah. I think Arkansas will beat them. But I think with Cook, they're pretty decent. I think they'll beat Arkansas. Yeah.
You know, their coach is kind of strange. I think he does a pretty good job.
I think he does a good job, and I also don't like him at all.
Well, I don't like him, but I think he does a really good job.
He's a
little peckerhead.
He's perfect for Missouri. That's how I'll describe him.
Yeah, you're right.
Kind of a little man syndrome. I could say a lot of stuff. I'm not going to say it.
A funny last name. I think that's.
He's like I don't care about the name. He's just like a little weasel acting guy. I don't know.
He's kind of mouthy for having ever done anything.
Exactly. There it is, right there. Okay, let's go to Purdue and Indiana next. And Rob, our resident Purdue fan, said, "Can we borrow some Sooner Magic for this one? You're going to need a lot of it." I watched. And now I totally forgot. Oh, Michigan State. I watched Purdue take on Michigan State. I will say I think those kids are trying. I don't think they've quit. They're just not very good. And now they go to Indiana. I think Purdue might cover, but
I would too.
I don't think there's any part that's going to be an upset here. And I would take Indiana if you force me.
Yeah.
On the points.
Yeah. I think Purdue will play hard in this game. Indiana has got to bounce back. I think they will, because they probably halfway expected that to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that'll bother them.
No, I don't think so either. You know, they just made the worst mistake, and they would have lost anyway. Don't get me wrong, but the mistake they made to let Ohio State get back in it, that was the cruncher. Because
they made a lot of mistakes that were avoidable.
Yeah,
in that game.
Yeah, because they were going toe to toe with them there for a while. I mean, they took that ball right down the field and scored, and they stopped them a couple of times, and then you can't beat when you're outmanned. You can't make critical errors and win. So it's just you think they're going to come out on fire because they probably are 29 points better than Purdue.
Yeah,
I'm with you. If I had to pick them, I would pick them because they're at home and Purdue just hadn't shown anything.
No. If we win, are they out of the top? Are they out of the playoff? I think Indiana would be out if Purdue won the game. Yes.
I think so.
And Rob's right. If Purdue beat them, they'd have more top 25 wins than Indiana. So.
That is a true fact, no doubt.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Washington goes on the road to take on Oregon. Oregon trying to complete a regular season undefeated. If I could talk, trying to be undefeated in the regular season. 19-point favorites here for Oregon. I think this game might be mildly interesting.
It might. Oregon's coming off a bye. I think sometimes when you have a bye this late in the season, it's not good for you.
Could be.
I think you wanted a little bit earlier because you got that one game left, especially a great team like Oregon. You want to keep rolling. You want to keep playing. You want to keep that routine. You don't want to take that break because then it gives you – because Oregon's in a situation they're in the playoffs no matter what happens, I think.
Yep.
They can lose this and lose the Big Ten championship, and they're in the playoffs. So they don't have the pressure of that, but they want to keep that number one seed. For down the road in the playoffs. They want to go undefeated, and they've had extra time to think about it. And sometimes you just lose a little bit of that edge that you've had because you've had some time off. You probably went home. If you live close, they let them go home on the weekend. They don't practice after Thursday, and usually Thursday's nothing. So you lose a little bit of that edge that you had. So I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Washington's decent. Oregon, I think is going to come out and play okay. So I'm going to take them to cover. It could be closer though.
I think Washington might cover.
They might.
I think they might. I'll take Washington in the points. I don't know. Oregon to me, I think they're Yeah, they're starting to fade. I don't know. I just haven't liked them their last 2 or 3 games. I don't think they played very well.
Wisconsin was tough for them. It was a matchup that was tough.
I get it, but at the same time, they suck.
They didn't play well up there.
No, they didn't at all.
Gabriel won that game. I don't care what anybody said with his toughness.
Yeah, but Wisconsin,
they're not any good. I agree.
That should not be a game where you exit and go, well, they could have got beat.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm a little skeptical on them right now, honestly.
Every good team has a game like that.
No, I agree. I understand. And they won, and that's all that matters. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They just won. Yeah. But from a betting standpoint, it matters. And I don't think they're playing very good right now. So I'm going to go the other way with the points. I don't think Washington can beat them outright, though. No. All right, the big one, Texas and Texas A&M. Boy, the Aggies have been waiting years for this. They are excited, and everything is on the line. A&M somehow still will go to the SEC championship game with a win here. Mm-hmm. Texas has, they've had a weak schedule. Now they will get a better test here. Texas is a 5.5-point favorite. Who you got?
I just don't think the Aggies can beat them. I hope they do. I don't think they will. I just don't. I don't think they're good enough quarterback. How many times do they flunk the test? They never pass the test when it's on the line.
Every time.
They're all mouth.
At the end of the day, if they lose to Texas, they're not any better than they have been over the last 1 billion years. They go 8-4, 7-5 every year.
Every year they talk the talk, they can't walk the walk, and that's just what they are.
Yep.
Texas, I mean, A&M's been mouthing. I haven't heard Texas say much. They're kind of just, we'll keep our mouth shut and go down there.
Yeah.
It is going to be interesting if they do win and they go to the SEC championship game and get beat. They got to be out of the playoffs, right? They have 4 losses.
Have to be.
Yeah. Texas is in no matter what. So there's not a lot of pressure on them except they want to beat them. I got to take Texas. I just don't think A&M's going to beat them.
I think Texas wins. I honestly, unless there's some kind of magic from the Aggies, just some craziness that happens, I think Texas might win fairly comfortably, honestly. I don't think A&M's any good.
Well, and I don't think Texas is that good.
I don't either, but I think they're better than A&M.
They too.
But
I think the SEC has a bunch of good teams, but every single one of those teams does not have an elite quarterback. None of them do.
No.
And that's what's separating them. That's why they're not as good as they have been, some of those teams.
The SEC is going to prove to be one of two things. A league where they were all better than the rest of most of the rest of the country and they just beat up on each other, or a league where it wasn't very good this year. And the playoff will prove that one way or another.
Yep.
So that's the good news on that. But we'll see. Texas, easiest schedule I could ever. I mean, just ever. So bad. But people will think they did something if they go to A&M, and it will be tough. That'll be a great win. Yes, it'd be a good win for sure.
Anybody that goes down there and wins, that's a good win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Many teams do it though. All right, K-State goes on the road. I remember every year Oklahoma's. Oh boy, that'll be tough. Every good Oklahoma team went down there and won every year. Maybe it had to be a miracle some years. Maybe it was a close game. They always would be.
You know what? You can sit down there and be the craziest crowd there ever was. If you don't have the players, it doesn't make any difference because you ain't playing.
And you just summed up Texas A&M football for the last 100 years. Well, that's what it's been.
The other thing I hear all this shit about, we got to go down to Death Valley. They just don't lose down there. Bullshit. LSU loses games at Death Valley.
Well, I mean, 2 weeks ago, they got absolutely embarrassed at night in Death Valley.
What did the crowd have to do with that?
Yeah, Alabama beat them horrifically. So, if you go down and you play well, you'll have a chance to win.
Yes. Exactly. You got to have a good team.
K-State and Iowa State, Farmageddon. This is going to be awesome. So Iowa State, I love this game. Iowa State with a win is in the Big 12 championship game. They're 2.5-point favorites. If you remember last year, it snowed a foot. It was incredible. Iowa State pulled off the upset against K-State there in Manhattan. Now you're going to Ames. It's 22 degrees. That's what the forecast is for Ames. I don't think we're going to have snow, but can the Cyclones do it? Can they make it to the Big 12 championship game?
I'm taking them.
I am rooting hard for them. I'll say that.
I like K-State too, but I just like the way these two teams play.
Yeah.
They're so well coached. They win games they shouldn't sometimes, and they lose games they shouldn't because that's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Huge game for Iowa State. 10-2. Wow.
I'm praying they win this game.
I'm taking them. I think they're a little better than K-State. I don't think K-State's great. So, well, obviously not great. I just don't think they're that good. But, before we forget it, we're talking about the Big 12. The best team in the Big 12 right now isn't going to be in the Big 12 championship, and that's Kansas.
Yeah.
They are just playing great.
Yeah, I know. Unbelievable, right?
It is.
Yeah. Well, listen, one of my best friends, Paul, a huge Iowa State guy, so I always pull for him. And I went up to a game with him one time when OU played up there, and I was just blown away by the atmosphere. Incredible, and it's gonna be incredible Saturday night.
22 degrees not gonna bother them.
I'm taking
that place.
I'm taking Kansas State.
We could be minus 22, and that place will be packed.
Yeah, I'm taking Kansas State.
Are you?
Yes. I just feel like they can't ever win this game. I don't know. Like they get to this. I don't know what I'm talking about. They need to be shot for being in this situation because they lost at home to Texas Tech. And look, they go to Kansas and get beat, but Kansas playing great. I can excuse that. But Tech went in there and beat you. I don't know. I just feel like they're not quite good enough.
They're going to beat them.
All right. Well, I'm also kind of trying to reverse jinx them in a way. Like
you are. That's exactly what.
Yeah. I'm rooting for him, but I just feel like
Paul's got to thank you for that.
I know Paul's going to be. He's not going to be upset that I'm going against him. That's for sure. And honestly, it's like their basketball team blows that game against Auburn the other night. It's like, God damn it. Like they have gotten to where their programs are good. They can't get over the hump. And
did you watch any of the game last night?
Probably the Iowa State game?
Yeah.
No.
The only reason I did was I had Dayton and the points. It was 8.5. Iowa State's got a guard.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of his name now. He is something else.
Yeah, he's good.
He won that game for him last night. That was a heck of a game.
I feel like, and again, I'm not an Iowa State alum or anything like that, but I watch them a lot because Paul, we talk about him a lot. So I want to watch him so I know what he's talking about. I just feel like they disappoint in big spots.
Well, they do.
And I just feel like they're going to.
Well, they might.
I don't know. I hope not, though. I hope
they're going to beat them.
All right, let's keep going here. 2 more to go. Nevada and UNLV up next. UNLV 17.5-point favorite. Win and in the Mountain West championship game. What do you think about this one?
Like them.
Okay, I do too.
Yeah, but Nevada come in there and play. Why? They're 3-9. Who cares?
Right. I think they cover. Yeah,
I do too. Yeah.
All right, with you. That's an easy one.
Yep.
And then Houston rounds out the schedule here. They take on BYU. Could be a meaningless game for BYU as far as making the conference championship game. Most likely will be unless somebody opens the door. But in the Big 12, they open the door every week. Right. Mm-hmm. So what do you think? BYU minus 13 against Houston.
Well, we know how well coached Houston is. We know they're going to come in there and play.
Yes.
They don't have much. They kind of faltered a little bit the last couple of weeks. I think they're about done. Yeah. BYU's got something to prove. Close out a 10-win season. Give me the – no, I'm not betting them, Rob. Give me the – they won me enough, okay? So
yeah,
give me the Cougars, though, to cover. I think they do. And I'm talking
here's the good news. Here's the good news. Here's the good news. Okay. We all knew they weren't going to win last week.
Right.
So we didn't back them last week. So they really only let us down when they played Kansas. So, yeah. And
look, that took Luke.
The Kansas game?
Yeah, they hit that guy, fumbled that punt.
Well, they still need to be shot for losing Kansas. But anyway,
you're
at home. You should beat them.
Well, Kansas is playing great, though.
That's
you realize true. Kansas beat Iowa State.
Yep.
Colorado and BYU back to back to back.
Yep. and they had K-State beat.
They did. They could have beat the 4 best teams in the Big 12.
Yeah.
4 straight ones.
Yep. Well, no, not Arizona State. They 4 out of the 5. Yeah. All right, final one. We got to talk about it. OU. I want to analyze this one real quick. OU. Let's see what they are now. They're 6-point underdogs. So LSU -6.
Well, I heard Dusty Dvorak talking about it because he had LSU a couple weeks ago. No, he had him against Florida last week, but he had him somewhere else. Here's what gives me a little hope. Oh, I know what he's talking about, the Texas A&M game. They can't handle running quarterbacks.
Exactly.
So we do know Arnold can run it. And we also know we have a running back that's pretty good now.
Yep.
So if we can run the ball, LSU's defense is not very good. Their quarterback is schizo. We have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Would I pick them? No. I can't pick them.
Here's the deal.
I think we have a chance, though.
OU will cover the game if they can run the ball.
Yep.
And if they can't, they're going to get destroyed.
Smoked.
Yeah. Because if OU cannot run, that means they cannot move the ball.
That's right.
So that's OU is Army and Navy, just a modern version of it. That's what they are.
We now are down to our 7th wide receiver.
They're not even going to play a factor in this game. I'm telling you, they will not throw the ball more than 10 times in this game.
No. Well, they threw it 11 last week.
Well, they threw it 11 times against Alabama, and 5 of the 11 were shovel passes, which is basically a pitch. So that's 6. That's 6 times. And 5 of the other 6 were 1 yard or less, basically.
That's right.
They threw down 2 of them. 2 of them were down the field. They threw more than 5 yards twice.
Well, one of them was the pass that was dropped in the end zone. Who threw that? Did Arnold throw? No, it was Thompson.
Yeah, Thompson threw it. Yeah.
Yeah, he threw the one into the. That's one of the long passes was thrown by a wide receiver.
Yeah, longest pass was 14 yards down the field, and they did it once.
Can they win a game like that twice? I just can't see in today's football you can do that twice.
You can't. You absolutely can't. However, what Oklahoma did well last week, LSU can't stop.
That's right.
And it's proven they can't stop. So that gives them a chance.
Yeah.
That's the key. If they stop the run, it will be bad, I think. Like 30-10 type of game.
Yeah.
And if OU can run, maybe they can win a 21-17 type of game.
Maybe.
Yeah. So I'll take LSU. Because
me too.
probably like they won the game. It was a great game. Feel good, but whatever. But the problems are still there.
They're there. They haven't gone away.
No.
They didn't do – I mean, what they did was unbelievable against a team like Alabama.
Yeah.
To do the most junior high offense I've ever seen.
Well,
Alabama. Makes no sense.
They basically did only score 10 points with the offense, though.
That's right. Absolutely. But they did move the ball.
They were able to move the ball enough to eat the clock. Exactly. Yeah. Same kind of thing in this game, but I still think LSU will have to help them with a score somewhere.
Well, they're going to have to play like shit.
If LSU can't stop the run,
yeah, you have a chance. But
I think OU can. I'll put it this way: if you look up and Oklahoma runs for 200 yards,
well, sure they have a chance.
I think they win. Like I don't think it's a chance. I think Oklahoma will win. I think that's the only stat to really look at.
I hope they can come out and do it. I've got to see it.
I'm very skeptical that they can come out now that LSU knows all we have to do is stop the run. They can't throw at all. I don't know how. I mean, if OU can run for 250 this week, LSU is truly awful on defense.
Or we have come up with a whole new offensive scheme that's going to take over college football.
That is not happening. All right, let's go to the NFL here and wrap up the show. Rapid fire through the NFL like we do every week. All right, let's get going Thursday. Boy, some shitty games on Thursday. Bears and the Lions. The Lions are 10-point favorites here against the Bears.
Only thing is, divisional game would be the only thing. In Detroit, sometimes they don't play well on Thanksgiving Day. They don't win much, but they haven't been any good either for a long time. So, are they the best team? I don't see anyone even close to them right now.
I think on paper, this is the best team. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're just thrashing people.
Yeah.
And the Bears they haven't won since Labor Day, so they're in big trouble. They're playing good. They just can't win.
Yeah.
And it's because they're just not quite good at it. And look at their division. 3 of the 7 teams not only are in the top 7 for the playoffs, they're a cinch to make the playoffs unless they just collapse.
Right.
So the Lions, I think, are the best team in the league. Give me the Lions and the points. I think they beat them pretty easy.
Yep, same here. Lions and the points for me as well. Oh, where's Kevin B when we need him? The Giants and the Cowboys. The Giants are the worst team in the league.
Yep.
Don't argue.
It's between them and the Jaguars.
I think the Jaguars would beat them. Giants are, Dallas. Who
3 of
somehow got a win last week on the road in Washington. 3.5-point favorites here against the Giants. The Cowboys are looking for their first home win.
How can they be just a 3.5-point favorite? I mean,
I don't know.
I've got to take them, don't you?
Yeah. Yes.
The Giants are showing no life at all. Dallas played good last week against a good team. I give me the Cowboys. That may be a best bet on Thursday. Don't you think if they show up, they just have to show up?
I don't know why they wouldn't show up. I mean, they should. Yeah.
They really have no chance to make the playoffs. I mean, if they won out, I guess they could. But
I would just think, let's just try to get a win at home. I think that would be some motivation, So
what? When's the last time a Dallas team's been 0-5 at home?
I don't know. And they get stomped too. So
yeah, they've just been thrashed.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going here. Dallas for both of us. This is a decent game. Dolphins they're healthy, playing better. Go on the road, take on the Packers. Packers are 3.5-point favorites here. This will be Thursday night. Who you got?
This is a huge win for Miami, or a huge game. They're trying to get that 7th wild card, and the team they got to catch is Denver, which is vulnerable.
Yes.
But they're a game and a half behind them, and this is a tough test for a team from sunny Florida to go up in 28-degree weather in Green Bay, which is balmy for Green Bay this time of the year.
Right.
And the Packers are playing pretty good. They've been kind of lucky last couple of weeks, but you know what? That's the NFL. 3.5, give me the Packers.
Yeah, I got to take the Packers in this. And you said the weather situation. Yeah, give me the Packers for sure. Black Friday, we've got a game. It's a doozy, too. The Raiders come on the road to take on the Chiefs. Let's see how the Chiefs can't cover this one.
That's right, but they won't.
What will they do? How bad will they play? What will happen here? The Raiders are disgusting.
They are disgusting. They're right in there with the worst team in the league.
And the Chiefs are the most disgusting 10-1 team in the history of football.
I agree.
So who you got?
Raiders and the points. They'll play them closer than that.
Every week you sit here and you go, like last week, Carolina?
Yeah. I could have beat them.
Yep. Every week.
You were talking a couple of weeks ago, Mahomes makes a run to win the game. Then you say to yourself, how do you do that? He goes 33 yards down the sideline. As soon as Carolina scored and you looked up at the scoreboard and there was 46 to go, the game is over.
Game's over. Yep.
I'm with you. This is the worst 10-1 team. I mean, you look at the Lions at 10-1, and you look at this bunch at 10-1. There's no comparison. I mean, the Lions are thrashing people like the Chiefs should be doing.
if this Chiefs team wins the Super Bowl, I'm officially out on the regular season. It means nothing.
It doesn't.
And it didn't last year. They looked bad last year and won it. But holy cow.
Yeah.
I
No,
think it works.
this should be 35-6.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
But I don't think it will.
You're probably right, but I can't bet it.
Well, I can't bet the Raiders, but I'm done with the Chiefs.
Oh man.
I didn't take them last week. I wished I'd took Carolina. I thought about it. Carolina's getting a little better.
Yep.
The Chiefs just kind of shuffle along.
All right. Well, you're taking Raiders in the points. Okay.
No, I'm not betting this one at all.
No, I'm done. I'm with you. I'm not betting it either. All right, let's go to Sunday here. Chargers and the Falcons next up. The Chargers are 2.5-point favorites on the road against the Falcons. This is a big time game for both teams.
Yes.
Really tough to predict. Who you got here?
Go to the next one. There's no way I'm betting this. Who knows?
Yeah, if you're betting this one, you're going to take. It's going to be a miserable 3 hours one way or another.
They're better.
I lean the Chargers.
I do too. If I'm going to bet it, because I think Atlanta's tanking it. But
I don't know that they're tanking it. I don't know that they're very good.
They don't have any defense.
Yeah.
But I mean, are the Chargers getting ready to play to their talent now?
I don't know.
They're not very good. They're not very talented.
No.
And it's on the road, coming off a tough, disappointing game last night. Monday night. Yeah, that's why I can't take them.
All right. Well, I'll take Chargers. You'll take the Falcons. Somebody will be right.
I'm not taking either one of them.
Oh, I got you. All right. Well, put gun to your head. Who's winning the game?
I think the Chargers win.
Okay. All right. Steelers and the Bengals next. The Bengals are a 3-point favorite in this one. I laugh because one team's 8-3 and one team's 4-7, but one team just lost to the Browns. So I get it. So who's going to win this one?
I told you.
That was a joke. That was a fun game to watch with the snow.
It was, wasn't it?
Yep.
I told you that was going to happen. But did I bet it? No.
Yeah.
Are the Steelers starting to fall apart?
I don't know.
They had to have that game.
It was terrible.
They had to win that game, and they didn't.
Yep.
They have to win this one. If they want to win the division, they got to win this. We know Cincinnati's better than 4-7.
Yeah.
I'm going the Bengals.
I'll go the Steelers again.
I can't get the Steelers right, so
I'll go Steelers again. I'll stick with them. Probably lose again and be mad again. So I don't know. All right, let's keep going here. Look, Rob says Mike Tomlin was god awful in that game. I totally agree. I have no idea what he was doing with some of those decisions. Horrible. Anyway, let's keep going. Cardinals on the road to take on the Vikings. The Vikings are 3.5-point favorites in this one. Who you got?
If I ever take the Cardinals again, I want you to tell me I'm crazy, because every time I get on the bandwagon, they play like crap. And they did again in Seattle in a game where they could have put some distance between them and everybody else in the division. Instead, they let everybody else either get back in the division or stay right where they are. And NFC West is a mess. Minnesota, give it to me. They're going to win easy. I'm done with you, Cardinals.
Give me the Cardinals. Give me the Cardinals plus
every week.
Give me the Cardinals. Well, I'm right. I'm right half the time.
Half the time.
All right, Colts and Patriots next. I don't know. Look, these games are hard this week. Colts and Patriots are next.
Hard. Impossible.
They're really hard this week. Colts and Patriots. Colts are 2.5-point favorites on the road against the Patriots. So you got a team that's underachieving, but they've kind of 5-7 is not awful. And then you've got a team that's overachieving at 3-9 even, but I'd have to say they're overachieving.
So what you're saying is that 5-7 record is worse than that 3-9, right?
When you kind of feels it, doesn't it? I mean, the Patriots, we know they just are shorthanded, but every week I watch the Patriots and I go, you know what? They're trying. They're trying. You watch the Colts, it's just like, God damn, this is just a disaster at times.
I don't watch the Colts.
I don't watch them much, but I do. I see them a lot.
If this was the only game left in the history of football, I would have watched my last game because I ain't watching this one. So
yeah, it's not great.
Care less. You talk about it. Dog. I guess if forced to pick, I'd have to go the Colts, but no confidence.
I'll go the Colts, but I'm with you. I don't have a lot of confidence in
Only
it.
they halfway have a chance still to playoffs.
Yeah.
Slim, but
Rob said, I remember when this game used to mean something.
Oh God, yes.
And then Rob says, both Robs chiming in says the Pats historically own the Colts.
Okay, Rob, here's the deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if that applies to
I'm
this
not sure
one.
about these Pats, whether they do.
Or these Colts, for that matter.
Right. We're talking about two different animals. You're right. When Brady was with the Patriots and Manning was with the Colts, the Patriots owned them. That's
for sure. For sure. Those were fun games, and the Pats did dominate them for the most part. Yeah, for sure.
Along with just about everybody else.
That's true as well. Yeah. Should be a classic. We're both on the Colts. Oddly enough, the spreads were probably around 3 points when they played back in the day as well. So.
And most of the time, or not most, but I guarantee you that the Colts were favored just as much as the Patriots were.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Seattle and the Jets are next. Seattle's a 2-point favorite on the road in New York. I mean, good God. I'll take Seattle, so I'm sure the Jets will win.
Me too. That's exactly what I was going to say. I'll take Seattle, but the Jets will probably win.
All right. Let's keep going. The Titans and the Commanders here. Commanders 5.5-point favorite. So you got in this one. By the way, Commanders are cooling off.
Yeah, they've lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Maybe 4. I know 3. Yeah. They don't have much defense. And Tennessee rose up.
The quarterback's banged up too. You can tell.
Well, I wonder why.
Exactly. Yep.
You can't last 17 games in this league.
No.
Doing what he does. I mean, and that's the way he has to play. He's a great player, but you can only take so many hits. Yep. And we're to game 13 now, and he can't really walk. And that's what happens. So you take him off that team, they're the old Commanders. They're not very good. So I give Tennessee a chance in this game. They played well last week at Texas or in Houston. Mm-hmm. They should have lost though. So I can't take them. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the Commanders one more week.
I will as well, but I would not be shocked if they get beat. Oh. All right, to me, this is the most disappointing team that should have been good in the league, and that's the Texans. I've been saying it for weeks. Don't say, oh well, they lost one. They should know. I've been saying it for weeks. I do not think this is a team that's all that good. They go on the road to take on the Jaguars. They're only a 4-point favorite in this game. I think that's crazy. I think they'll win and cover, but I don't think this team's that good.
No, and they're playing a terrible division.
Yeah,
look who they got Jaguars, Indy, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
They won the division last year because that's the division they were in.
Yeah.
And so you've got games you can win when you're in that division. So they're not very good. You can't lose to Tennessee at home. You can't.
No.
That's a terrible loss, and that puts the pressure on you. Now you got to go to Jacksonville. Yes, they suck, but what's his name's out, right?
Yeah.
Quarterback for Jacksonville.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to go with the Texans.
All right.
Well,
Texans, I'm with you as well. I think they cover.
Okay.
Rams and the Rams are sickening. The Rams and the Saints here. The Rams are -2.5.
Why do you pick this game?
I would take the Saints all day in this game.
The Rams are terrible.
They are terrible. They're no longer my Rams.
Really beat the shit out of them.
Yeah. I think the Saints.
Nice crowd from Philly there too. They were everywhere. They would do something and it would sound like a home game.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going the Saints too. They're not playing that bad.
No, they played better since Coach got fired. I think they'll be okay. I think they'll beat them.
Quarterback got back too.
Yeah. Well, that always helps as well.
Yeah.
All right, Buccaneers and the Panthers next. The Bucs are a 6-point favorite. Took care of business last week on the road. Got to do the exact same thing. Do not mess around. Win this game. Get back to 500.
You have to win it, and you're back in the hunt.
Yeah.
I looked at their schedule. It is weak.
Yeah. Oh, they've got a great chance. Yep.
Yep. And
but you got to take care of business.
You have to win this game.
Yeah.
And you're playing an improving Panthers team. They're getting better.
This is a scary one.
It's a toughie. He does have Evans back. Baker does. I thought Baker was fantastic, but of course against the Giants. But he's been great all year.
Yeah.
I think he pulls them through it. His spirit and everything, I think, has got them still playing well. Their defense is getting a little better. Yep. So I'm taking them to cover and get to 6-6.
All right, I'm with you. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take them as well. All right, Eagles and the Ravens up next here. It's the Ravens 3-point favorites in this spot against the Eagles. Great game. Who you got?
Best game of the week. Yeah, for sure. Oh boy, this is a good one.
Battle of the Birds.
Yep, I'm going to take the Eagles +3.
I took the Eagles as well. So I just never believe in Baltimore. So I took the Eagles +3. The night game on Sunday night, and it looks like snow in the forecast in Buffalo. 49ers and the Bills. It's the Bills, 7-point favorites.
49ers are hurt, banged up. They look like shit.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs unless they get some guys back. Buffalo, 7. That's kind of dangerous, especially with the weather, but they're 7 points better. Have to check on that weather. If it's snowing like crazy, I probably will not. Might go the under.
I'll go the Bills, even if it's snowing. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills are playing well. They've had a week off.
Yep, give me the Bills. Finally, Monday night game. It's a good
one.
It's a good one. Well, the Broncos. If you're a Broncos fan, it's a huge game.
It is.
The Broncos -5.5. God, that's a lot of points for the Broncos. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. But you know what? They took care of business in Vegas.
They did.
They killed Atlanta the other day.
They did.
Coming off that debacle in Kansas City where they should have won. I think they're kind of a little bit better than we think. I think they're going to cover.
Yep, I'm with you. I took the Broncos to cover in this one as well. I think they'll beat them. All right, that's it. That's all we got. Do you have any other games you want to talk about? I should ask that real quick.
There's just some little nothing really.
No. Okay. We have tonight is a head-to-head matchup for us and one of the listeners, 2 of the listeners. So Craig Maiello, he's not usually here live, but he listens. He is a Providence fan.
Oh, okay.
Oklahoma plays Providence tonight in the battle for Atlantis. Let's see if we get a line on that. I forgot to look that
2.5.
up. What is it?
2.5. Providence 2.5.
So who you got in that one?
Neither one of them have played anybody. How the hell do you tell?
I got a pick.
I took Providence.
I took Providence. There you go. Easy.
I
don't think Oklahoma's any good. So,
well, how could you think they are? I mean, they lost everything. They do have a couple of guys. I was listening to the coach on something the other day. We might be a little better than we think, but I think we're going to have to watch the girls to get any fun out of OU basketball because they are good.
I think you're right. Okay. And then finally, Kevin B versus us tonight. St. Louis at New Jersey. New Jersey's a big favorite in this game, but the New York Rangers were a big favorite in the game Monday against the Blues. The Blues were able to beat them. Can they make it 2 in a row for the new coach?
Well, they could. New Jersey's pretty good.
Yeah.
Can you win 2 in a row against that kind of competition?
No.
I don't think so either.
No,
I think they'll play them close. What's over under? Any idea? It's not.
I would say it's
probably 5.5.
5.5. Let me see if it's on this one. I click
it's 6. You might take the over under maybe.
Here it is. It is 5.5.
Yeah. I could see 3-2, 3-1.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't bet the Devils because you don't win anything if you do. And it's hockey, so you don't want to bet a heavy favorite in hockey unless you throw them in a parlay somewhere.
Right.
Because it's hockey. You don't know. I mean,
no, it's an unbettable game if you like the Devils, and I do. Yeah. So you can't bet it.
I do too. I just think the Blues are quite there.
No
teams like that.
Of course not. No,
unless this guy's he's got a hold of our goaltending, and those guys. Well, one of them's nuts.
Right.
Stuffing or dressing?
Yes, that's the question.
What's the difference, Shotty? You talking about like homemade stuffing?
Yeah.
That you buy at the store,
Mm-hmm.
or traditional dressing? Now, here's the thing with the dressing. If it's prepared right, I absolutely love it.
Okay.
I will take that over stuffing any day of the week.
All right.
I don't old-fashioned dressing like your grandma made.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You probably don't like it.
Neither one.
So why are we even talking about it?
Well, because you're analyzing it.
If I've had some people's dressings like your other grandmas just couldn't make dressing.
Mm-hmm.
She was a good cook, but she could not make dressing, and she knew it. And the funny thing was, she made it every year, and everybody said, "Why did you do this again?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "I know it's terrible." And she just kept making it. It was funnier than hell. No, I like dressing over stuffing any day if it's made right.
All right. Dressing over stuffing. There you go.
But I gotta have turkey over ham for Christmas.
Turkey over ham 100% of the time, all day, every day. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Speaking of, it's time to go pick up the turkey. I gotta go. We got stuff to do as we get ready for tomorrow. Everybody, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. As Shotty says as well, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
It's a good day. Yeah,
I'm confused. Say it's your favorite.
What's that?
I heard you say it's your favorite.
Yes, it is. Yeah, for sure.
Shotty says, "Is it different?"
Stuffing and dressing that's two very different things. What were you talking about?
I don't know, Shotty. Maybe you guys just called it stuffing. When I think of stuffing, I'm thinking of stovetop stuffing that you buy at the store.
Right. Yes, me too.
Dressing is made from the renderings of the turkey, the broth, the bread they put in it.
So I'm confused. Why are you saying it's not different is what I'm saying. That's two very different things.
It is different. That's what I was trying to say to her. That's the difference. But no, that's the difference. But maybe they called it stuffing. Whatever all I know is we're not going to have any old-fashioned dressing for.
She asked you the question, what do you like better, stuffing or dressing? And you said, what's the difference? That's why everybody's confused.
Oh, I did?
Yes.
Well, then I asked the question, are you talking about stovetop stuffing? Yes, it is different.
We may look back and say this was the moment where old age started to creep up on him.
No, you have another story that I'm surprised you haven't said.
Oh, I'm not talking. No,
that I ran out of gas the other day.
Well, I wasn't gonna bring it up. It happens. It's no big deal. But you did run out of gas.
No, that was horrible. That was I can't believe that happened. Well, I'm glad it happened, and that's all that was wrong. But
you have a gas gauge that's broke, and you lost track.
Gas gauge doesn't work, but I keep track of the miles. But I went back and backtracked and figured out what I did wrong. So.
What did you do wrong? I am curious of that.
Well, I've been making some trips to Springfield, so a couple of days that I worked, I drove back home to here, and then went back to Springfield, and I forgot to count those miles. That was an extra 100 miles I forgot about.
There you go. There you go.
So I've got a notepad now, and I'm gonna just thank God it happened where it did.
I think
when a block from home.
I think when your
proceedings
have ended,
a new car
new car needs to be purchased.
It's high priority. It's HP. High priority.
Yes. Okay. I like that. All right. We're going to get out of here. I've been on the air long enough. So we are going to.
Yes, you have.
Okay. Hold on. We do need to talk about this.
Rob,
if the gas gauge doesn't work, you might try to fill up at half a tank. Exactly.
Gas gauge doesn't work.
But doesn't it work? It works until it gets to half.
No, I can go,
Oh,
like the other day, I put $62 worth in the truck and filled it up, and it was on empty.
okay.
It said empty.
Okay, so it used to be okay. So, well, you probably need to fill up more often than you're doing, but I do get.
I have been, and I was busy last week.
Right. Yeah.
Before I went to Springfield, the last time I went to Springfield, I thought I had a half a tank in there.
Right.
So I stopped and put 10 gallons in.
Right.
Obviously, I didn't have a half.
Obviously not. All right. Well, we went off the rails a bit there at the end of the stuffing dressing comments, but
you're now starting to see that I am beginning to slip.
Yes, I know. It's it's happening before our eyes.
Well, some people call it stuffing, some people call it dressing.
Well, no, we're not getting back into that. We're not doing it.
Old-fashioned dressing, no.
Yeah, if you mix Shoddy and you together, you might have one working car, I feel.
Well, we need to take the parts that are working on your car with the part. By the way, remember Manny? My man Manny?
Yeah.
I asked Manny about the gas gauge.
Okay.
And he goes, it depends on what it is, but he goes, 9 times out of 10, you don't want to pay to get that fixed. So
would that mean it's kind of
it's costly?
Okay.
Yeah. He goes, now it might not be, but he goes, he knows the situation I'm in right now. And he goes, I would wait if I were you till you get that taken care of.
Yep. You're probably right. All right.
He's a good guy.
With that being said, we all have full tanks and full hearts as we go towards.
I will too. I'm going to fill it right now.
All right, guys. Well, we will talk to you guys next week. We'll be back regular day of Thursday next week. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. And like I said, we'll see you right back here next week. Hope you guys cash all the tickets this weekend.